I never thought of that from the hacking. I remember from just playing high school ball.
That's my lie.
Getting them jammed by
from catching the
deflected
ball.
balls.
That's how it really happened.
No, not for you.
But it sounds better, Matt. Don't it sound better?
It is a better story.
There
it's
you
a better
go.
Story.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin the magic.
Sounds better. That's facts.
This is the one right here that I did on you. When I smacked you and hacked you, I just.
Oh, no, you ain't smacked me. We've been rolling around.
Eddie Johnson, to this day, every time I talk to Eddie, I see him, he said I dislocated his shoulder in the game, and I don't remember.
He remembers.
I don't remember.
If his shoulder's dislocated.
That's how physical you were. You don't
Well, guys kind of tripped up and fell around me. They might have lost a tooth or something every now and then, a finger or something got jammed. Hey, man, I was just playing basketball. I didn't
Stuff happens.
You were.
Stuff happens.
I figured if it
You were
happens to
playing
me,
basketball,
it happens to them.
but you thought you were on the football field.
Well, when the guy stole the ball from me, then I was, I had flashback. I had to run him down and tackle him.
There you go.
Right? That's football, right?
It's over in San Francisco. The Warriors have defeated the Chicago Bulls 119-93. They had a 22-8 run in the third quarter that really broke things open. So the Warriors are now 11-1. Steph Curry, 40 on 15 of 24 shooting, hit 9 threes. Get this. It was his 36th game of 9 threes. That is 27 more than any human on the planet.
You said 9 threes.
9 threes.
Well, Alonzo said, backdoor me. He did.
For a layup.
He was pointing that way, too.
Yeah.
Sam, I know it's hard. I know the different stages of coaches. Now, any pick and roll for me, I'm trapping Steph.
Yes.
And getting the ball out of his hands. Because I know he can do that.
Sure. I don't understand.
Nothing you can do about this. This is great individual play of Steph Curry. But any pick and roll, you bring people around him. Now, this is what I was talking about, man. Look, Draymond Green, there's no pressure on the ball.
Thank you.
You got to put some pressure on the ball. He can do that as practice.
Yep. Really good spacing, good screen there, but.
And then he's constantly moving without the basketball.
Yeah.
That just makes it tough.
I think that's maybe something that fans don't entirely appreciate about Steph Curry is how active he is without the ball in his hands, how often he is making his way to a spot where Draymond Green or someone else can find him. So Steph and the Warriors rolling right now over their last 7 games, lead the league in scoring and threes, in point differential, and obviously in record as well. They're 11-1, and I know this has been a pretty friendly schedule for the Warriors here so far. This game, in fact, wraps up an 8-game homestand. They haven't necessarily played all the big hitters yet at this point, but 11-1 is 11-1, and still without Klay Thompson. We don't know exactly when he'll be back, but how impressed are you by what the Warriors have done here so far?
Very. We keep talking about, well, who have they played? Well, they went into Chicago tonight to drill the Bulls. Who have they played? Whoever the schedules make and put in front of them, they've beaten them. All right, they have one loss. So at the end of the day, when we talk about that, the Los Angeles Lakers, who've been favored, they've lost some teams we thought they wouldn't lose to.
Absolutely.
Brooklyn early lost some teams. So those things happen, but when you look at Golden State, without 2 of their key players, Klay Thompson and James Wiseman, imagine how deep, and you said this the other night, when the guys who are starting now, those 2 guys go to the bench, add those guys who bring size and more shooting and better defense, and then look how strong your bench is going to be. Who's going to beat them? They got the best shooting team back. They have a 7'2" guy in James Wiseman that can block shots and do different things, and another toy for Draymond to play with. And then you're going to have Klay and Steph back doing, and Jordan Poole has
been great.
It's been great. So Andrew Wiggins. And we can just keep talking about all these guys have gotten better. Now they're deep. They can shoot. And guess what else they're doing now? They're defending.
No, I was about to say, they're defending like they did during the championship years.
That's what's scary.
Best defense in the league so far.
And Matt, Sam, to his point, to add on that, 11-1 gives you the luxury as a coaching staff to bring Klay and Wiseman back even slower. They might come back, but I don't have to play them 30 minutes. It could be 17, 9 minutes. And I think that's what's going to be the luxury because we have this cushion at 11-1. No matter, I know our strength of schedule hasn't been tough, but if it had been 5 and 6 with strength of schedule being weak, that's a different story. But 11-1, now you can kind of tell Klay, hey, take it a little easy. We're not going to play you a lot of minutes. Let Wiseman come back slower because right now they're in pretty high ranks in the Western Conference.
No way to predict what Clay is going to be back or what he's going to be when he comes back, whenever that might be, probably early January, somewhere in there.
If the worst
he hasn't
case
played
scenario,
for 2.5 years.
If he's a spot-up shooter, think about it.
He'd be really good at that.
Yeah, think about it. With the talent they got on this team, he don't have to run around like he did in the past. He don't have to. He can work himself in slowly because of the depth now they have on this team. I didn't even mention Andre Iguodala.
They needed him for defense. Now you have Wiggins and Gary Payton II. They need him for shooting and scoring. You still have Jordan Poole. So he can really take his time and come back and be Clay. Takes his time to be Klay Thompson.
So, 12 games in, should they be considered the favorite in the West?
I have them the favorite in the West right now. I mean, because 85% Clay, 85% James Wiseman adds so much to this team because they've given these guys that wouldn't have got a lot of minutes with Clay and Wiseman so much Gary Payton II is playing a lot of minutes.
Yep.
Damian Lee is playing a lot of minutes. Jordan Poole's got a chance to start.
Toscano Anderson.
Yeah. And you said it best, Andre Iguodala. Mm-hmm. But I think Otto Porter has been a huge pickup for the Golden State where he fits perfectly.
Plus, the West looks so wide open. Who's better? No, I mean, is there a team obviously better than the Warriors right now in the West?
Should be the Lakers.
I don't see one.
Should be the Lakers.
Should it? I don't know.
I
think there are a lot of questions about that roster. We just talked about.
Okay, think about this. Look at the contrast. We look at Utah and Golden State. Both teams shoot a lot of threes, right?
Yeah.
Utah had the best record last year. But if we saw in the playoffs, if you take their threes away and you limit Donovan Mitchell, they are very beatable, right? Because they don't have another way they can play.
Right.
You try to take the threes away from Golden State. We saw Steph Curry tonight. He would lay up you to death. Klay Thompson. They would take the layups. They're not trying to shoot step back, fadeaway threes, trying to run from guys.
Right.
They're trying to take what you give me. Now, if you give me the three, I'm going to take it. But if you run me off the three-point line, I am just going to go take the easy layup. Look at Chicago, ran them off the line. We sat here in the highlights and watched them just lay the ball up uncontested 4 or 5 times. Who are you going to beat if you're giving up layups uncontested? So when you look at this team, what's scary, Matt, they got the best offense, and now they got the best defense.
Yeah.
How are you going to beat